Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain back for the last of the 4 quests to Necropolis 4. Now we do still have technically 2 others, so there's this quest here, the Black Mausoleum, and then there's the raid to go with it. As well, I do want to showcase these guys here, which I'll do in its own separate short little video. Alright, so this one here is called Inferno of the Damned. This is a fairly annoying and probably the most annoying quest out here. Aside from the Ghosts of Perdition or GOP, simply because that quest does require 2 people. This one is annoying because it's kind of like a maze that has 2 sides, and I'll show you what I mean by 2 sides once we get out there. Alright, so the easiest way to get there is from the Desecrated Temple of Val. So we're going to be taking our guide directly to that location there. So here we are, and we're going to head right to the Desecrated Temple of Val. And that'll put us right out the bottom here. Now from this position, you want to turn left, heading east, kind of a southeast, and just head right through the thicket here, and we'll be able to get to this position. Now sometimes you will run into this individual here. He is actually a rare encounter, and this guy's rare encounter, you're not actually fighting him per se, unlike so many rare encounters. Rather, he's gonna spawn a waves of enemies, and you must defend him. So here we are. Alright, once everybody is defeated, we can go ahead and talk to him. Tell him that he's welcome. Seems he got knocked down. And then we can grab our loot right here. And sometimes, as you can see, you can get sigil pieces from the Slayer, but definitely don't bank on that, as it takes a lot of chests to even get 1 sigil. Honestly, they're fairly rare out here, and you can only get parts 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so from this location, we're actually just going to hug the right wall here. Doing so, we do get a few nice chances for rare. So we can actually have one spawning here, which is a giant skeleton. You can also actually spawn up the ramp to the left here and around. The ramp to the right will actually lead into a crypt, which can have a rare encounter in there as well. And we're just gonna head around the edge here. And yeah, so at this point you can head down towards the tower. If you walk right up to it, you will get an explorer. And we're just gonna head north. And apparently we're also going to get some lag. Alright. Let's get ourselves heal. So we're going to continue north. For a little ways. Once we get to where that tree is, there is 2 underwater caves, or not underwater, but right near the waterfall. So there's lower and then upper crypt. They can have a rare encounter in them as well. So if you are looking for them, I check the lower, then check the upper. He'll only spawn in one or the other, or might not spawn in any. So if you get them, there's no point checking the second one, and so on. Alright, so now that we've crossed the water, we do want to head up the ramp and continue kind of hugging this wall. And you'll see these ruins right here. Somewhere. They're not happy with us. So we're actually going to head around these little bits of ruin and continue further up the ramp all the way up to the top up here. Here we are. So once you get to the top section here, this is actually where we need to be for the quest itself. We're actually just going to hop down here and we can step into the quest. Alright. So this quest is again really annoying because it has two sides. And again, we'll explain that as we're going along. That way it's a little bit easier on you guys. So the first thing that we need to do is we're actually going to head off to the west and past these wargs. Now there are some breakables along the way. If you want, feel free to grab them. The path I am taking you will not encompass the entirety of the quest, so you may not get all the breakables, we may not get all the kills, and we may not get all the traps, but it is the fastest and most complete path through this quest, and it'll definitely be the easiest here for you. So from here we're going to continue heading down the one path there to the west. Now we can get some traps here, right here, or here, which you did see we got at least one of those three. There we go. Alright, so at this point we do want to actually stop and break this portal right here. Once we break it, as you see, we do teleport to a different side. So this is the flame side, the Fernia side, and again it can have the same traps at the same spots. Alright, but from this location we want to continue heading south, and that will actually let us pass this section here. So the reason for changing sides and the like is it will actually have certain areas blocked off on one side and not on the other. So you'll see that here in a moment. As you saw, we came up from the west side here, heading east. We need to head south to this portal. Now, don't worry if you're standing next to the portal and it breaks before you actually get to the portal. They will respawn. It just takes a little bit of time. Alright, so from here we're going to head north, and as you'll see, that section off to the west is now blocked, and we can actually continue east. Somewhere. Alright. So, a couple of items that will assist you greatly in this quest are having some form of fireball. So you can have scrolls, you can use the rune arm, course, the spell. And what you're going to want to do is at these torches, you can use the fireball to light them up. Once they're all lit, it will spawn in the Guardian, and then you need to defeat the Guardian. Now, if you do not have the spells, don't worry, it's not like the quest itself is not completable. What you need to do is from these portals here, you're actually going to drag the fire methods over to the torches, and the fire methods can use their flame like that, and that would light the torches. So it takes a lot longer and a lot more effort to basically position yourself between the method and the torch, wait for them to attack, and it's just a pain in the butt. The easier way is to just come in with either scrolls or have access to the spells in order to break them. Alright. So I'm just waiting for the other guy here. So as you see, the undead can actually pass through these barriers. Unfortunately, we cannot. Alright, so once we've lit those torches, we do want to head back down to the portal. Port back over to the fire side. From here, we're going to head back to west. And instead of stopping at this portal, we are going to run past and continue down the path here. Now we do got a trap. I'm going to continue to this giant hole in the ground right here. And get some dungeon alert, because apparently they didn't die. I'm going to give ourselves fire resistance. So from here, we do want to head all the way across. Now you do want to avoid, there we go. Alright, so you do want to avoid running through these squares, as they can be trapped. On this side here with the fire, it will be lava. On the other side, it will just be a spike pit. Alright, so again, stand next to portal, kill it. Pour it over. Pull the lever. Now we are going to head all the way south. So again, avoid running through those squares to avoid getting hit. So with this one, once we've lit the torches and killed the Guardian, we actually want to head all the way over here back to the portal. Port back over, which will now have spawned our undead versions of these enemies. And we're going to head all the way back up to these lights here. Now this time, as they are lit blue, we actually need to use a ice storm to put out the torches. And then you'll fight this big blue fire elemental kind of guy. Once he is defeated, we're going to head back to the portal. And port to the other side, and now we're going to head off to the east here. Now this one here is a little bit tricky. So we do have a portal here. If we get cut off and are not able to make it, so we would come back to this portal here. So what happens there in this room coming up, there is a specific individual enemy that if you are standing next to him, when you kill him, it will port you to the other side. Why this is important is, as you see, we have a shrine here. There. This is just the resurrection shrine. On the other side is the rest shrine. Now, if we port over, this is locked. So the only way to get across is to run on in here, stand next to the acolyte, and kill him. There we go. At which point it does give us an extra chest for basically rewarding us for being teleported over. And then we can get the lever. So if you are with a party and only some of you got ported over, that's where you would head back to this portal here. And go that way. And then of course you can run up, grab your loot, grab the shrine, as long as somebody made it across. Obviously, if nobody made it across, that just means you don't have access to that rest shrine. From this location here, we want to head southeast. To here. And then we're going to head northeast to continue across. And again, we're going to hop down into here. Now, right here, to our north, we do have a hidden door, which will port us across. Alright. So once portaled across, we do have some rubble, a lever, which will open up our secret door here. And we're stuck in this small room. Now, just like before, we want to use some sort of fire to get ported over. And then take out the elemental there. Once he's dead, I'm going to portal over. And now this is where we would put out the so again, if you don't have the ice scrolls, you would stand next to him like this, have the Mephit use his dust spell to be able to actually put out the torches. As you can see, it takes some time, but that's how you're supposed to do it. Obviously, if you have like Ice Storm, you can just quickly put it out yourself. Alright, so once he is defeated, what we're going to do at this point is actually head on up. And we're going to head up here and continue continue heading across. Now at this point, we actually got the trap at the back wall. Alright, so at this point it does offer us a shrine. Now this is in order to get into this side. As you can see, it does mention that there is a key glistening over on the side, the jeweled key. In order to get that key though, we need to first destroy the portal. We do need to head up against this wall. As you'll see, we do have some enemies on this side here. And we need to hope, and I do mean hope, that you can get their attention so that you can head on over. Now the easiest way to get their attention is to fight enemies on right next to the side here. Again, hoping that someone will be close enough to notice. It does seem that we did not get lucky. So once you get someone to run through, then you gotta again stand next to that guy all clad in red, kill him to get ported over. When you get ported over, you'll then be able to pick up that golden key and hop through. So it is very difficult to get that key. It's a lot of RNG, or random number generator, for those that are unaware. And it's just honestly not worth the time it takes in order to get ported over. So instead, from the fire side here, we're actually just going to head east. And we're going to go all the way to our portal. And then we're going to hop on over. From here, we're going to head up just a little bit. Take out the threat. Alright. And then we are going to use this to again light our torches. It does seem I missed one. Now, once these torches are lit, we're just going to head south. So again, I want to point out the portal here. Similar to last time, we're going to head on through the gate there. It's going to have one of those guys we got to stand next to and kill. If you do not make that, this is the portal that you would use. So we're just going to head south. We got a trap. And again, it is the Acolyte of Flame. There we are. And poured it through. Now at this point we can head northeast. And of course get all the aggro guys here. And then our lever let anyone through who didn't make it. Right here. So I'm going to port back over. Just because we did have that trap there. Here we go. And it didn't push us up to neutralization. So again, it has only the resurrection shrine on this side. And then if you got ported over, you would have the rest shrine on the other side. Here. At this point, this is going to be right before the final fight. So if you do need to use the rest shrine, go ahead and use that. If not, you can continue off to the west here. And then you can head on, grab your chest, and then you're going to want to hop down into the hole. Now, if you weren't able to make it, or rather, no member of your party is able to make it, all that means is you miss out on this chest here. The portal itself is just in that room right across the hall. And again, you would just hop down here. Once down here, same as before, you're going to want to extinguish the flames. And then you can head over to the central area, and we're going to head off to the east again. Now this one tends to draw a lot of enemies, as you have enemies on the other side of that barrier and enemies up top there. So just be aware of that before you start pulling the boss, as it makes it considerably easier to kind of deal with one at a time. There we go. So again, we're going to use our Ice Storm. And once all of these guardians are defeated, we need to again return to the central path. Just gonna rebuff here. And when we return to the central path, it's going to have our final enemy. And it will be another big blue guy here. So you want to just take him on, and that'll be it. Like, it's a simple concept quest, but it definitely is very, very, very maze-like. As you can see though, it does award you for that, getting 46,500 experience. It only took us 23 minutes, so we got about 2,000 experience a minute. And of course, definitely can go through this quest a lot faster. From this point here, go ahead and grab your loot. Again, you get sigil frames. You can also get some named loot out of this quest. This one in particular can drop a great sword, which actually makes you immune to the Quell's intercession, which if you're unaware of what that does, it makes your character unable to cast divine spells. So for my type of build, where my heal is based on arcane spells, reconstruct, doesn't really affect me. However, any type of cleric, it would stop them from being able to heal completely. So it is definitely a good little weapon to have, especially if you are planning on going on a quest that has lots of quells. From here, all we gotta do is click on the rope. It'll port you right outside the quest. And then of course, recall, turn in, and all that fun stuff there. So what I'm also going to do, just because of the end of the video, I know I said I was going to do it on its own separate video, but I'm actually going to show you what the rewards are for turning in the tapestry pouches, the tome pages, and for the shield fragments. So each one of these turn-ins right here are going to turn in for a different type of weapon. So we are going to start with Bilk. This is for the tome page. Now he will provide you with any number, or one of these, and it's your choice which one you choose. Honestly, I just like the look of these ones, the Sever. And these ones themselves are not too terrible there. The Skiver. And then finally, it will also now give you Seals of the Black Abbot, which you're unaware of what those will do. I'll explain those right after this here. So you can also grab those there. I personally, I'm just going to grab the Tales of Valor, because I don't need any of those weapons. Alright, so for this one here, it's 20 tapestry pages. So this one, it will give you some helmets. Now, before, this Diamond of Vitality used to be contained within this Minos Legend. Now, due to actually a fairly recent update, the augment slots are all new items are going to come empty. So they put this one in here so that you can still get the augment, but you won't be able to get both there. So as you can see, some okay ones here. Nothing too standoutish, though this one is not too terrible for a healer type character. You got Devotion, Sacred, and Hallowed all on one item. And again, unfortunately this Diamond of Vitality doesn't stack with items like False Life and such. Alright, and then finally we got this one here, which is our shield frame. And again, through here, we can... I love the look of Death's Door. It is kind of an interesting one. But through here, again, we can get a Seal of the Black Abbot. And of course, some heroic deeds. Now, I am just going to check how many more I have. Technically, I can get one more, so it's good enough for me. So what those seals are used for is when you do the raid, you can actually get some raid items out of there. Now you can use on the fountain here, you can upgrade these items. So you'll have Breeze, use Sigil, and it'll actually give these effects to Breeze. One of the big ones that everyone loves, and I actually have myself here, is the Quiver of Alacrity. Now when you first get the Quiver, all it has on it is that ranged alacrity 10%. But once you use a seal with the quiver, it upgrades it to give it plus 30% to your movement speed, which, as it is a min level 1 item, it actually doesn't have a min level on it at all, that you can get 30% movement speed, which is about your fastest movement speed you can, right at level 1 when you're creating new characters. So this is a very, very sought after item for people who are TRing, and a lot of them, that's what they use. But it is also sometimes hard to find groups for the raid there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, it's been a blast. I hope this was informative, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one, all.